High Court Judge Yasmin Aliyu slammed an interim injunction on the Coalition for Change Transitional Interim National Officers Elections Committee, restraining the committee from conducting any party activity or elections for the appointment of executive members or conducting a national conference. So this morning, to discuss the controversy and the life of the Coalition for Change, we have online Honorable Emerson Lamina, a member of the C4C and the party's parliamentary leader. And in studio, we have with us Kevin Metsiga, lawyer from the Transitional Interim National Officers Elections Committee. Good morning, Kelvin.
Good morning, Samuel. Good morning.
Honorable Emerson Lamina, if you are there with us, good morning. Okay, when we're able to establish link there with Honorable Emerson Lamina, when our producer is available to give us Honorable Emerson Lamina, would bring him into the show. Would have loved to start off with him to understand why he took the committee to court and asked for an interim injunction. But Kevin, let's go back. What is happening with the C4C? I'm asking this question against the backdrop of that when Chief Alhaji Samuel Samsumana departed the party and sought to become a member of the APC again. Things have not been smooth for the C4C. We've seen court actions here and there, restraining party executive from conducting any activities, and then the court ruled in favor and say, oh, you can go on, and then again here we are with another injunction. What is happening with the C4C?
Well, I think like most political parties, there are difficulties, there are egos involved within the party itself, and people want to express themselves. What has happened since 2020, if you recall, Alhaji Chief Samsumana tendered his resignation as leader of the C4C party because he wanted to follow his political aspirations and he wanted to join or rejoin the All People's Congress Party. I must say our parting was amicable. He notified all the stakeholders beforehand. We discussed it. That was his personal decision. The Coalition for Change Party was a party that was formed. In fact, we got the registration, I always like to say, at 1:45 before the 2018 elections. It was, I think, on the 20th of December was when we got our final registration. And we worked very hard to achieve what we did. I think across the whole of Africa, we were the newest, the newest party with the most seats in any general election at the very first time of asking. Now, there's a method to the madness because C4C started as a movement. The idea of the movement was to unite this, our beloved country, Sierra Leone, so that we can respect each other, we can treat each other as brothers and sisters. We can be the family that we once were after elections in this country, after independence in 1961. So that is what we were trying to achieve, the development of this country, sustainable economy, sustainable development, and better lives for all Sierra Leoneans. We transformed that into the C4C party. I can say, standing here, there are certain people who obviously don't believe in that sort of approach to Sierra Leone. And I believe that that is an egotistical approach. We cannot make this country better if we are selfish. We cannot make this country better if we don't allow things to happen.
Kevin, stay there with us.
Yes.
We've been able to establish a link with the parliamentary leader for the Coalition for Change, Honorable Emerson Lamina. Honorable, good morning and welcome to Wake Up Sierra Leone.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning to you.
All right. Thank you for accepting to speak to us. I know you are in Connaught doing your political thing, but let's get to it quickly. You've been able to get the court to slam an interim injunction restraining the the Transitional Interim National Officers Elections Committee of the party from undertaking any party activities, and you've just been asked to go on with, as a party, to go on with your lower level elections. First off, what really pushed this decision for you to go back to court and ask the court to put on hold every party activity?
It's unfortunate. In this particular case, I'm a defendant.
Right.
I actually will have little or nothing to say on the matter. That's the sad thing. But, one very popular pastor, a Lutheran communist man from Germany, by the name of this Martin Niemöller, he did say when they first came to the socialists, I did not speak out because I'm not a socialist. When they came to the trade unionists, I also did not speak out because I'm not a trade unionist. When they came to the Jew, I did not speak out because I'm not a trade unionist. But when they came to me, there was no one left to speak for me. That's the case. I've always been standing with the marginalized as far as C4C matter is concerned from the beginning. And two chairmen from Kailan and Kono District acting chairman of C4C taking the party to court at this very crucial moment is unfortunate. By very time we have been a defendant from among the very 21-man committee. So we still look forward where both of these parties will come and get a fine way forward. But I think if you would have got the plaintiff, they will know the reason. No legal matters, I always become careful not to speak to the merits of the matter. That is why
we apologize for the mix-up there. Our producer is trying to get to the plaintiff. But just quickly, what is happening with the C4C? Since the departure of Chief Alhaji Samuel Sam Sumana, there has been constant problems, should I say feud, impasse, on some unsettled waters in the party. You are in court today, out of court, tomorrow in court again. What is happening with the C4C? Is the C4C in coma or is the party dying?
Well, this cannot be screened out from poor exit strategy. Has there been a very strong, fine strategy for its exit? We would have poured oil on troubled waters. There would have been peace. But going the back and the forth is really, very unfortunate. But as I said earlier on, it's not new. Like all other political parties that exist in this country, they have gone through the ups and the downs. C4C is not an exception. But I want to believe the insurmountable will be surmounted and there will be a fine way forward. But all of these things have been surrounded by arrogance and insincerity. Arrogance and insincerity has been the hallmark troubling us today. In any case, Samuel or David, who am I talking to exactly?
Samuel,
I'm talking to. There will be a way forward. I'm too sure. Very, very optimistic. I'm in Kono at the moment, concentrating on, while students, academic lives, conducting classes at the moment. I'm so preoccupied with that. Conducting classes, free holiday classes, for while students, about 2,000 students. So I'm so preoccupied with that at the moment.
Just before we let you go, in the midst of your busy schedule there in Kono, Honorable Emerson Lamina, I'm pretty sure you're not oblivious of the perception that almost all the senior members in the C4C have been branded along the red and green lines. Chief Alhaji Samuel Sam Sumana departed for the APC, and the chairman of the party, I don't know if I'm correct to say that, Tamba Sandi, is also being tagged as red guy. Aligning himself with the APC or aligning himself with Samuel Sam Sumana. The Honorable Emerson Lamina is also accused of aligning himself with the SLPP. Is this the path you are taking to the June 24th polls as a party?
I'm quite mindful of 77K in the Constitution of Sierra Leone, 1991 to be specific. By the 25th of April, the 5th Parliamentary died natural death. And I will tell you categorically, anything can happen at that particular moment. But as it stands, I'm C4C. Until that Parliament is dissolved, I'm C4C. I strongly believe of the nation first. That's the mantra of the C4C party, the nation first. In essence, whatever that is good for this nation, I will support and I will pursue. And whatever that is bad for this nation, I will frown and I will ignore. So Samuel, this crime or being a sorcerer politically, hold your feet. When that time comes, it's a bridge we will definitely cross, and dignity and pride. Samuel.
Honorable Mr. Lamina, before we let you go, in an era where we're looking at accountability and, of course, redefining governance to be a collective responsibility of all the players involved, how much of an opposition has the C4C been, and what's been your contribution towards governance and nation building over the last 5 years?
Well, if you be a meticulous observer and follower of Sierra Leone Parliament, you will confirm with me that those bills that seek for the goodness of this nation will be supporting, and those that might have a question mark will frown. But the good thing about us that we've been profiling good recommendation. We've not been armchair critics, those that will just say oppose, crying stinking fish of those good policies and bills that are so nice, and without providing solution. This is not how we've been operating. Where criticism is deserved to criticize, we do, but we will profile very good recommendation for the nation, because our party's mantra is nation first. That is what has been happening many times when there are mining bills like the Extractive Minerals Act, percentages that we know over well, who bring up the IMC qualification of institution manager, who speak up to the issues and who bring, and before you know, you speak out your mind. But when it comes to voting, if you do not have the majority of voting, the picture of democracy will speak, the numbers. But I need not to tell you, if you have a reporter that has been reporting constantly from the well of Parliament, he will tell you that we'll be being a very formidable opposition with the mantra of nation first.
We've also, as we wrap up the Fifth Parliament with the analysis and, looking into the work of Parliament, the Parliament has come under scrutiny for some things in the area of accountability. The Auditor General's report that has not been, there's not been a debate on the Auditor General's report, and then to the point where we have MPs seeking better welfare. What has been the position of C4C with regards to these matters as one of the political parties represented in the Fifth Parliament?
Like, I have been part and parcel of the Fifth Parliament. From our predecessors, the first, second, third, fourth, and the Fifth Parliament has not been a culture of debating Auditor General's reports. But that cannot also debar us not to go ahead to make a fine way forward.
Exactly, because the argument has always been there's always a first time.
Can I hear you? Hello?
Yes, because the argument has always been there is always a first time.
I can't hear you. Could you please speak louder a little?
I'm saying the argument is there is always a first time. So to say previous parliamentarians have not sat to discuss or debate the Auditor General's report is still not a deterrent to the Fifth Parliament to debate the Auditor General's report. So there's always a first time.
I'm too pretty sure. Just 2 weeks ago, the Deputy Speaker, no letter a person or mean man, laid out report. It is very possible. Before the expiration or the exit of this particular Parliament, it is very, very possible that it can or will be debated for the people of Sierra Leone and to make the necessary recommendation to the various MDs that will fall foul of the law. That is it. So regarding the welfare bill or the Parliament Act, I want to tell you it is not a new thing. And that is why the clerk's office did send a notice for the public to come and participate to the debate of that. It is not a new thing. The Parliament Act, the PSC Act, it is a matter of just codifying the entirety. But I will tell you for sure that the benefits that are in that particular bill, MPs are already getting it. Go there and listen. If MDAs from other agencies and MDAs are enjoying certain benefits, I'm not too sure whether the MPs will approach to the naysayers of the debating that particular welfare. It's starting to tell you that we lost 6 MPs died in this Fifth Parliament. Why? Because of poor welfare. Some of us have been interacting with other MPs from the EU, from the AU, from the ECOWAS, etc., etc. And they tell you the welfare benefit they are enjoying, it is not commensurate. Sierra Leone cannot even reach at the ankle of those MPs in any case. So what the MPs will be debating, if possible, if it comes up on the other paper,
And finally, Honorable Emerson, with the C4C heading to the June 24th elections, you as a political party had one of the historic successes for a new political party in terms of the representation you had in Parliament as well. Going into the June 24 elections, how is C4C positioned? Are you going in for the victories, or are you going in with the usual history where, aside from the APC and the SLPP, all the other political parties come in to be the deciding factors if we get to a runoff stage? What's the position of the C4C going to the election?
Well, during my studentship at the university, I was sympathizing with Leone, and that Leone, I learned very good values of it. With the mantra say never, all your peace at the moment. When it comes to that, we hear from Honorable Lamina, loud and a very clear one.
The doubt now is, how strategic would the C4C be, even in a position of forming alliances, when the party itself is divided? You have some members supporting the APC, some members supporting the SLPP.
All what you are saying is just embedded in the legal matters now, and I cannot speak detail to that. Otherwise, lawyers will get me arrested for sub-judice.
And we would not like to see you arrested. So thank you very much for your time this morning.
Can you ask him before he goes?
Oh, just before you leave us, Honorable
Emerson, Kevin Metzger here. Good morning to you. I want to ask, as you know, there has been a meeting both in Connaught and in Freetown yesterday, 2 meetings simultaneously in relation to this injunction that took place. The people of C4C would like to know, come the 28th of April 2023, will you still be a member of C4C, or will you be making a declaration contrary to C4C?
Honorable, are you there?
All right. I think Honorable is gone. Or he's not getting
It may
us.
be a bad line.
Yeah.
I will speak to him in due course.
Exactly. Thank you. And I would not also love for Kelvin to get us lose our jobs. We're the ones asking questions.
I'm terribly sorry.
Right,
I'm asking for the membership of C4C,
right,
because I was at a meeting yesterday.
But you've listened to the submission of Honorable Emerson Lamina.
I have indeed.
Who happens to also be a defendant like yourself in the case.
Can I stop you there?
Yes, go ahead.
I don't know who's a defendant. I don't know who's a plaintiff, because we have not been served with the injunction.
Right.
Now, as a lawyer, I will tell you, and the judges will tell you in this country, if a defendant is not served with an injunction as expressly specified in an ex parte injunction, that is to say, an injunction where a party goes to court without notifying the other party, then that injunction cannot stand.
So you're going on as planned because you've not received?
No.
I mean, as a committee.
We thought very carefully about this. We were going to have our convention on Sunday. That information was made available to the PPRC and to the police, and we got clearance from both of them on Thursday last week. On Friday, behind the scenes, this injunction was taken. It is alleged that there were 2 members, a gentleman by the name of Yoro, who, by the way, as I understand it, has previously declared for the SLPP, so I don't know what his business is in C4C, and another gentleman who was a former chairman in Kailang called Silvanus Saidu. This is the information we've got.
Right.
I'm sorry if I've said anything that is wrong, because I haven't seen any documentation. We haven't been served with any documentation. The indictment is therefore invalid. But with the greatest respect to all concerned, we remembered what happened on the 10th of August, the 8th, 9th, and 10th of August last year. The last thing we would want to unleash on the faithful members of C4C at a national delegates conference, where you would expect there to be a lot of people, is for there to be disagreement, for there to be violence, and for, let us say, the authorities to believe that they have to step in to stop this violence.
Kevin, allow me to just go through quickly the injunction. I have the order here before me. Like you
I hope you have the whole order.
Like you mentioned, it was actually, I got it from the lawyer, who represented the plaintiff, or who's
Oh,
representing
that would be the aspiring member of parliament for the SLPP, Honorable
right.
Givao.
He's a lawyer.
Oh, yes.
I
know him.
And so now here is what, and I got this on Friday. His title before the Honorable Mr. Justice A.R. Simeon Aliyu, dated the 14th day of April 2023.
Yes.
And he is saying, having had H.M. Givao Esquire of counsel for the plaintiff or applicant's hearing, and having read the ex parte notice of motion dated the 13th day of April 2023 and the affidavit in support together with the exhibits attached thereto, it is this day ordered as follows. 1, that an interim injunction restraining the defendant's stroke respondents hearing, whether by themselves, servants, agents, workmen, or employees, or whosoever, otherwise from conducting any party activity or elections for the appointment of executive members for the Coalition for Change, is hereby granted pending the hearing and determination of this application. And 2, that an interim injunction restraining the defendant stroke respondents hearing, whether by themselves, servants, agents, workmen, or employees, or whomsoever otherwise from conducting any national conference for the Coalition for Change, is hereby granted pending the hearing and determination of this application. And 3, and order that the originating notice of motion in this action be served on the defendant or respondent together with the interim injunction order and with this ex parte notice of motion. 4, no order as to cost. 5, that this is that this matter is adjourned to the 26th of April 2023.
Thank you.
Signed by the Master and Registrar.
Yes. Now, that is not an injunction. That is part of the document that is called an injunction.
Right.
Now, tell me on the document that has been provided to you whether the plaintiffs or the defendants are named.
The documents I have with me, there are no names.
They're not named. Right. Now, that is the same document that was proliferated on social media on Friday.
Right.
This is an attempt.
And this is a document that actually got you not to continue with the conference?
No.
So what stopped you?
I would totally disregard that document because it's not worth the paper it's written on.
So what
with the
stopped you?
greatest of respect, the only thing that makes that a valid document is when it is served on the defendant with the whole of the document, naming the plaintiffs, naming the defendants, the originating notice of motion.
And that's the 4th order that you should be served as defendants. Absolutely. And respondents.
So it's invalid. We should have held our convention.
Stopped this committee?
Because we didn't want violence in Kono.
Right.
Because we have respect for our people. Now, this whole injunction, if you understand the people involved in taking out the injunction, and I'm glad that Honorable Emerson Lamina has said that he's named as a defendant, because he must have seen the document that we haven't seen, because you can see that no defendants are named on there.
Right.
Now, if he's seen the document, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that the transitional committee, TINUEC, for the C4C party, which is mandated by Honorable Justice Adrian Fisher to carry out this work, and which mandate has been extended until the 30th of April this year in order for us to carry out our National Delegates Conference. By the way, all the lower level elections have been completed, district and regional. That's the only thing that's left. This is nothing but an attempt.
So just a national Delegate Conference.
This is just an attempt to breach the Section 26 rights of the C4C party and the people of Sierra Leone who are members of C4C who want to vote for a different party than the SLPP or the APC or any other party that is out there. And with respect, there are those who are beginning to comment, even within the international community, that there appears to be attempts to overpower the smaller parties, to make sure that they cannot participate in the 2023 elections. This is wrong.
Attempts by who?
By various people, but I suspect, largely speaking, that the links that Honorable Emerson Lamina is said to have with the Sierra Leone People's Party may play a part in the perception of people to think that government is doing this.
But Emerson Lamina just mentioned that he's C4C. Yes, I mean, until,
Yes, he did.
until otherwise, he remains C4C, and he said he is one of the defendants.
Do
in
you
this
follow
matter.
social media, Sir Samuel?
I do.
Because if you do, you would have found out that since Friday, there has been a lot of lambasting of Honorable Emerson Lamina in social media in Kono, in his hometown. Now, I understand that people can get things wrong sometimes. And it would be good if Honorable Emerson Lamina speaks to the people, which is what I understand he's doing if he's in Kono right now, to explain his position. Because nobody would expect the caucus leader to be behind an attempt to stop this party from going into the June 2023 elections.
C4C has been divided for a very long time. Even in Parliament, the members of Parliament are divided. The faction of Sir Charles, Honorable Sir Charles, I mean, 4 of them were perceived...
There's 5 on one side and 3 on the other side. That's what is perceived to be the case.
Who are perceived to be linked, I mean, with Chief Alhaji Samuel Samsumana and the Red family. And the side of Honorable Emerson Lamina, I mean, perceived to be in bed with the SLPP. And so with this at play, if it's anything to go by, what is left of the C4C? Because these are the leaders of the C4C.
Let me stop you right there.
Go ahead.
The reason that there is this distinction, shall we call it, and perhaps purported disagreements in Parliament, has been because C4C hasn't had a national executive that has been able to guide and to lead its leaders in Parliament. The reason Honorable Emerson Lamina remains caucus leader today is because we took the national executive to court at a time when everybody knew that the national executive wanted to remove him as the caucus leader. We did not think that was right. We wanted the party to come together and not to be divided. The fact of the order that was received or handed down by Honorable Justice Adrian Fisher on the 20th of February this year gave us the opportunity to bring everybody together. The 21-man committee includes all 8 of the MPs. Now, I can tell you that there are 3 MPs who have not played any part in the work that has been going on for and on behalf of the C4C party.
Who are these MPs?
Well, let me explain it in this way. There are 3 MPs who have not participated. The other 5 MPs have. And therefore, if there is a perceived division between the parties, it would seem that those members of the parliamentary caucus that have joined and worked towards making C4C once again whole are those who are perceived to be red. Because Honorable Emerson Lamina, and you understand, even when you tried to speak to him this morning, he's a very busy man. It may be that he has been so busy that he hasn't been able to participate. Honorable Rebecca Ye Sam, as she is now, is also a very busy leader and the foremost leader, almost the women's leader of the C4C party. Unfortunately, her time has not allowed her or permitted her also to take part.
Who's in the camp of Honorable Emerson Lamina as well?
Is she? Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, I'm asking a question.
Well, there are those who say that. I don't know for certain. I will repeat rumors, but I will say I will give them credence as rumors. I don't know that for a fact.
Okay.
There's also another gentleman who's Honorable Musa Fofana, who I understand was in this very studio recently, advocating for the welfare of parliamentarians and the Parliament bill. So those are the 3 people who have been absent. All the other members and co-opted members have participated, and we've gone through our lower-level election. So C4C was on the platform, so to speak, just shy of the final pedestal to be able to be presented to the people of Sierra Leone as a viable political party to be elected in the next general elections.
It seems the C4C is falling apart. That unity, that oneness that brought you all together in 2018 seems to have departed from the party.
I would respectfully disagree with you, because you see, in any unit, for example, you know, they always say, if you have a dozen apples and one is rotten, it doesn't make them all rotten. So we must look at the component parts and look at the unit as a whole. There are differences. When I first started speaking in the studio, I told you that we believe, or certain people believe, that there are people with egotistical traits that will do certain things in order to benefit themselves personally. What we have been trying to inculcate in the C4C party is that togetherness and unity, which it is perceived by people like yourself isn't there, but it is.
But it was stronger in 2018.
Was it?
Which landed you, solid victory, especially in Kono.
Then we did a very good job indeed. I can tell you that in most of my engagements with political parties, and that will include both the favorite parties of Sierra Leone, the All People's Congress and the Sierra Leone People's Party, who I had the good fortune to be involved in discussions with between the general elections and the runoff as part of the C4C team. All political parties have difficulties. It is those who are able to patch up their difficulties and G their members up together sufficiently to present a united front that make successes. I cannot tell you that we are any more fragmented today than we would have been in, let us say, on the 1st of March of 2018, or even on the 9th of January of 2018, which is when we held our inaugural convention, which I chaired.
Phoebe asked a question about the perception. People think C4C is eroding itself from the political space, and you did not agree to that. But let's go back. We've seen in Kono, where members of your party have defected. Some realignments have taken place. Some have gone to other political parties like the SLP.
It's politics.
We've seen the declarations.
Yes.
And that's where, for many political pundits, that's the strongest base of the C4C, because that's where you got all your seats in Parliament.
Yes.
And the votes you got in Kono cannot be compared to any other part of the country. So,
absolutely.
If Kono, your town, or your strongest base,
yes,
is disaggregated, if I should put it, I mean your supporters and all of that, what is left of the C4C?
Well, you see, again, that is a perception. I can tell you, because we have been active since Tinuek was able to start political activities. We have been active in Kono. And I think political observers will tell you that the C4C party has made an unbelievable resurgence in Kono. And I think the best evidence of that resurgence is that some of those very councillors, I'm reliably informed, who declared en masse for the Sierra Leone People's Party, have come back to the members of C4C and said, oh, we made a mistake. We don't want to leave C4C. Now, that may not have hit the media immediately, and I'm sure that given the opportunity, we will make as best political use of that as we can. But I can tell you that I have seen the social media videos that have gone out. I have been in close contact with members of Parliament who are currently in Kono, some of whom may be coming down today, who have been in Kono over the weekend, who were preparing to be there at our National Delegates Conference, who report back that the people of Kono have said, C4C is our party, C4C is our baby, we are not going to let it go.
But what's responsible for the division currently in the C4C?
Human weakness.
In what sense?
What would you like me to elaborate on human
please.
weakness? All right. In any given scenario, as I said, there are people who want to push themselves forward, and they want to benefit from situations. There are others who are prepared to be team players. I think you will find that across all of the parties, and C4C is no exception. But when you have individuals who put themselves first and not the party, they will sometimes create the kind of rift that to the public shows divisiveness. I can tell you that once we have mended the deep issues that were there, that had been created by these personages, let us say people who were allied with red, people who were allied with green, and convinced the C4C people, our registered members, that what our intention is to make C4C continue to hold C4C as an independent political party standing for the will of the Sierra Leone people, coming from the base of Kono, which gave us our greatest political victory so far.
Is it also connected to the exit of Chief Sam Sumana from the C4C?
Is what? The divisiveness? I don't believe so. I think you have to look at Chief Sam Sumana's politics.
But what was the picture before he left the C4C and after he left the C4C?
Before Chief Sam Sumana left the C4C, I would say that there were individuals in the C4C party who were looking to align themselves with the All People's Congress Party. There were those of us who did not agree that that was the way in which a political party should be run. Chief Sam Sumana made a decision to go himself to the All People's Congress Party, which is a decision that he was fully entitled to make. At that time, all those people who wanted to go to the All People's Congress Party were free to do so. What we took objection to was for people to remain in the Coalition for Change party and then try to hold that party to ransom for any other political party, be it the All People's Congress or the Sierra Leone People's Party. And that's where, if you like, problems arose, the rifts that could not be resolved by simple negotiation, mediation within the party, using the elder system within the party, and that's why we resorted to court.
But it still comes back to all this happened after Chief Sam Sumana left the C4C.
Well, going to court, going to PPRC first and then going to court, that happened after Chief Sam Sumana left the party. But the reason why it happened was because Chief Sam Sumana had left and made clear his intention that he wanted...
Was he the glue holding the party together?
The party was held together before Chief Sam Sumana was invited to join C4C. People say it's Sam Sumana's party. It isn't.
Who's the founder of the C4C? Because the thought and the general assumption or idea is that it was formed by Chief Sam Sumana.
Well,
what's the fact?
It's very difficult, and you'd need a lot more time than you have here to explain how the C4C was formed. Suffice it to say, the C4C was formed in America, in Sierra Leone, in the diaspora. That was then brought to the UK, and everything started as a political movement. Now, in April of 2017, Chief Sam Sumana came to Sierra Leone, having been in Ghana for some time, in order to register to vote. I recall that he was on 98.1. We crossed because I had just left to go back to the UK, I myself having registered. He said on 98.1 that we was asked this specific question, is C4C your party? Are you going to go and lead it? Because a press release had been made by the C4C movement, as it then was, inviting Chief Sam Sumana to come and lead the C4C movement. And he said, I quote as best as I can, although it's a paraphrase, that C4C is a political movement. It's not a party. It has its own leaders. In America, it's Dr. Aliyu Iskandri, and in the UK, it's Kevin Metzger. That's in the record for anybody to check. He then said that it was his aspiration to become president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. He had a political career that he was going to follow, and he could only do it through a political party. So, C4C, as a political entity, existed before its relationship with Chief Sam Sumana.
Kevin, just quickly before we take some messages, let me ask this question. So Phoebe asked about what is responsible for the seeming device of the C4C. And the myth, for those who have read history, the myth is that the Kono people, they follow their leaders, they follow leadership. Okay. And that's how it's been happening. Chief Alhaji Samuel Sam Sumana appears to be one of the leaders of the Kono people, the Kono clan.
Yes.
The Ana Kono Mani and the others. Yes. Honorable Emerson Lamina. And if they already Chief Alhaji Samuel Sam Sumana, the Ana Kono Mani, the Karamokaba, the Logos, they've aligned themselves already. They are with the APC.
That's right.
Honorable Emerson Lamina has not denied not aligning himself with the SLPP, but has not made an official declaration until after the life of this fifth parliament expires.
That would be very interesting.
Now, if
for the Kono people,
if that is anything to go by, do you see the C4C surviving at all? Won't the people follow their leaders, follow Samsumana to APC, follow Emerson Lamina wherever he goes?
This is a moving world, and people have to understand that the Kono people have adopted C4C as their party. Now, when it comes to presidential elections, as you say, the Kono people may want to follow their brothers, their sons, because everybody in this country, whichever way you look at it, would want to make their lives and their area better. What we want to do is to make the whole of Sierra Leone better. But the Kono people do understand. We have been engaging. We are part of the Kono people. I can say, for example, my grandfather worked in Kono for many years. He was a dispenser there. So we have a natural relationship with Kono. And we do believe that if C4C puts members of parliament up, we will get a clean sweep in parliament, in the councillors, mayoral election. We'll get a clean sweep again. The Kono people have promised us this. So you can understand why there are those who would be best served if C4C couldn't take part in the next elections. But that is not right. It is denying the Kono people their right to vote for the party that they want to vote for. And to make a political statement to the rest of Sierra Leone, we are here to stay as a people who want to be involved in changes for the better in this, our beloved Sierra Leone.
Kevin, stay with us. Let's run through a few messages quickly.
Yes.
The ones time would permit us to go through.
Sure.
Dean Bundu saying C4C has sold their party to SLPP. We see most of their MPs have declared for SLPP. Even their mayor in Kono has also declared. So to me, C4C is dead. We are patiently waiting for Honorable Emerson Lamina to declare for the SLPP.
I think that's a mathematical impossibility. There are less people who have declared for SLPP than those who are said to
have time to respond. Let's just run through them quickly.
Eddie Grant says, this lawyer knows how to talk. I see him as a politician.
Eddie Grant again is saying the two biggest and oldest parties, SLPP and APC, are muscling the smaller parties.
I think that's a very, very, very interesting comment.
Okay. Kathab Yuko says, enough is enough. We're tired with these new parties. We trust them with their ideology to side out the so-called APC and SLPP. At the end, it's a disappointment.
Raymond Helena is saying, as a nation, we really need to do away with SLPP and APC. But as it stands, they have no competitors because we were hoping C4C or NGC should have come to the citizens' rescue but oh no.
Bashir Lokison Felewa says, the system of new political parties in Sierra Leone is questionable. We have to ask ourselves as a people, why are we moving from one political party to another? Without any good future, we cease to believe NGC C4C will bring change, but not anymore. Sorry.
Lansanas is saying, I strongly believe C4C should have held their comparative advantage with regards to representation in Parliament. The development that have been seen in Kono is due to the number of seats they acquired in the last elections. C4C should hold that as the strongest bargaining or negotiating reference for any government in power to attract development in Kono. This is the time for Kono people to show relevance and prioritize the future of their people.
Richard Grampa says, it is a culture in Sierra Leone that third parties will never survive in Sierra Leone politics.
Kathab Yukurma is saying, sir, don't be late. Join any party of your choice, not till you start term. Your boss has already left, so what are you waiting for?
Okay, there's a concern here. Kathab Yuko on a separate issue is saying, Samuel and Fabian, please let the government of Sierra Leone know that there are students here in Sudan and the situation is getting out of hands. We have been indoors for 3 days now, no movement.
All right. Camara Charles is saying the people of Sierra Leone have no confidence in a third force because third parties have failed the people who supported them. The leaders of those parties would cross carpet to the APC and SLPP without informing their supporters.
Katab again is saying, please, who was the founder of the C4C party, if I may ask?
The last message I will take is from Christian Ibrahim Siati. He's saying, is the man in the studio Konobai tribe? What an eloquent man he is. I think he is absolutely correct. There is a need for political parties to remain independent and form alliances with other parties if necessary, as opposed to a complete disbandment of those parties.
Raymond Helena says, as a nation, we really need to do away with SLPP and APC, but as it stands, they have no competitors because we were hoping C4C or NGC should have come to the citizens' rescue, but oh, no way. And responding to that, Ronald George Stone says, my friend, it's not about third force. It's about the smaller parties coming together and forming a coalition government where each party has a say in the running of Sierra Leone instead of one dominant party like our two old dinosaurs who've been in power but have not delivered anything in nearly 62 years and counting. Those are the messages.
Well, thank you very much. I think that the people who have contributed to the show by putting forward those messages have made some very valid points. And I understand each and every one of them, what they've said, including those that say that there's no place for a third force. But you see, I'm going to borrow a sort of phrase that my grandmother used to use. If at first you don't succeed, try again. We are too used in this country to saying, it hasn't worked in the past, therefore, let's just put it to one side. Now, in relation to the question of a third force, I think you will find that the international community would agree with me if I said that currently the C4C party is the only credible third force in politics in Sierra Leone today. But I do want to take up what one of the gentlemen there said.
When you say credible, what do you mean?
Let's pass on that for now. Let me finish what I have to say. And that is this. Coalition for change. The first word is coalition. The whole idea behind the coalition for change was to garner up support from the smaller parties to create that credible third force that would mean we have a government of national unity, even if at the end of the day, the head of that government came from one of the two GOPs.
Which is not different from the ideology preached by the National Grand Coalition.
It's not different, but now the National Grand Coalition have coalesced with the ruling party. Of course, that is a matter for them, that is a matter for their ideology and whatever they want to say.
Right.
The C4C party has been about sustainable change for Sierra Leone. Now, I put this to the people who are listening or watching this program. Has Sierra Leone changed for the better in the last 5 years? Do you see that change improving the lives of ordinary Sierra Leoneans? Your life? If it does, go and vote for the ruling party. That's what politics is all about. If it hasn't, you may want to look at the options that other parties can throw before you. But what will change this country is joined up thinking. And when I say joined up thinking, I don't mean it in an insulting way. I mean the kind of thinking that crosses the borders of party lines. We may have people who have good ideas. The SLPP may have, the APC may have, NGC may have, Unity Party may have, PDP. We have about 17 or 18 parties at the moment. How many of them will be in a position to contest the next general elections? Right. I don't know. But if all the smaller parties were to coalesce and target the seats across this country with proportional representation, we have the best chance ever in the history of Sierra Leone.
But then it's not happening. We have these other political parties like fighting
Never
individually.
say never. Never say never. Because you see, the act of coalescing is something that takes a while. people have egos, as I say. Even I have an ego. We all sometimes think about ourselves, well, okay, if I do this, I'm going to lose that, and so on. We need to lose those and look at what's best for this country. If we can all merge together, there will be a formidable third force.
A coalition worked in the Gambia.
Oh, yes.
What's the possibility of a coalition working in Sierra Leone?
There's always the possibility of...
When our voting pattern, our history, shows favor for APC and SLPP.
Well, there's a time in the life of any individual or entity where it will have to change its ways. One of your contributors called the two GOPs dinosaurs. Dinosaurs don't survive in the current world, in the modern world. Those species of animals which are descended from dinosaurs have changed to adapt, to become more agile, and to be able to live in surrounding circumstances. If they are dinosaurs, they will need to adapt. And the new creatures, entities, will also need to adapt in order to put the dinosaurs into the past.
All right. Well, Kelvin, it's been a pleasure having you here this morning. Thank you very much. We've enjoyed the privilege of your time.
Thank you.
And
for
just
having
before
me.
we let you go, there's a trend we have now on Wake Up Sierra Leone. A message to your supporters on peace, non-violence.
Oh, absolutely. This is a message to my supporters, or to the supporters of the C4C in general, in particular, and in general to the people of Sierra Leone. We want peaceful elections. We want free and fair elections, because that's the only way forward. And the people of Sierra Leone deserve peace. The people of Sierra Leone deserve free and fair elections. Together, we can make sure that happens. And if that happens, please vote wisely, make your vote count, so we can have a better country. We all deserve it, and it can happen. Put the right people in the right place.
Thank you very much for your time to be a part of Wake Up Sierra Leone.
It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you.